Welcome. Hi, I'm Gretchen Curry. I am the owner and president of StaffLink. StaffLink is a home care and medical staffing agency located here in the St. Louis region. Via home care, we primarily provide services to seniors. I am here today representing Senior Resource Options. Senior Resource Options is a group of business owners who provide services to seniors, and our mission is to provide education to seniors and their families about resources available to them in the community. I have with me today Amy Neu. Amy has a master's in social work. She is also a licensed clinical social worker. She provides private practice out of the West County Psychological Associates. And Amy and I are here today to chat about seniors and social isolation. Amy, my first question for you today, can you provide us a little information about what services you provide as a clinical social worker?
Yes, well, thank you for having me, Gretchen. I'm
so
excited to be here. What I do is I provide therapy and counseling to older adults and also a lot of times family caregivers who are caring for a loved one who's aging. I sit down, I do a biopsychosocial spiritual assessment the first time we meet, and we make a treatment plan and see what we can do to really help the client have the best quality of life they can. And I also do support and education and training with senior care communities and their staff.
Wow. Okay. So my first question for you is answer for me what you think is important that seniors, their families, professionals like myself who provide services to seniors understand and know about social isolation in seniors.
Sure. Well, I think this is such a big issue, and it has raised a lot of, it's had a lot of attention on it since the pandemic, with so many of us being isolated, and it has been an issue for quite some time. And so the good thing about that, if there is a silver lining, is we have some information about what goes on for people when they're isolated. And I think that it's important to remember there are a lot of negative health outcomes for older adults who are isolated and feeling lonely. Things like cardiovascular health is impacted, risk for stroke and heart disease increases. You'll see depression, anxiety, sleep issues also becoming comorbidities. And I wondered for a long time what this connection was. How is this causing such an issue? And the experts believe it is really our biological makeup that makes us have these things go on. And so when we think about kind of our ancestors way back when they were in small hunter-gatherer groups, being alone was really a huge disadvantage for survival. And so it is something, that feeling of loneliness and isolation can be like a cue, kind of like hunger or thirst, to drive us to go and get what we need. So being part of a group again. And in the short term, it has a lot of benefits when we're alone in that way. Cortisol, epinephrine, those chemicals in our bodies that keep us alert and awake, in the short term, that's very beneficial in that kind of environment. But now in the long run, when those are going throughout your body, it really does take a toll physically. So I thought that was so interesting and made a lot of sense in terms of what we need. Yeah.
It's very, and now that you point out some of those things, it makes sense that those be some of the outcomes of social isolation. So Amy, tell me how a senior or their family would work with a professional like you to address the issue, and what suggestions you have on how to suggest that issue.
Sure. Well, it kind of goes back to the initial assessment. Everybody is different and experiencing different issues. Every family is different in terms of what they can offer. So there are a lot of different ways to re-engage people who have been isolated for some time. Looking and seeing if they've had in the past any favorite activities that they'd like to do, any hobbies, anything with their occupation that they've liked to carry on into their older years, and see if there's a way we can reintegrate some of those aspects back into their daily life, or even just weekly. Looking to see if there are opportunities for socialization, even if we're not in person, because we've all, needed to be aware of the health outcomes and the risks. But technology offers so many different opportunities right now. We can have video chats. We can even just have a phone call each day or a couple times a week, and reminisce. Some families like to have photo albums readily available near their loved ones so they can pick it up anytime. Different scents, really engaging your senses can also be a big help. So if there are certain smells that people like, a lavender candle or a vanilla, a air spray, things to engage people outside of themselves are very, very helpful. There's so many different great strategies. And then it depends on what the person would like, what they want to work on, what they feel like would help them, and encourage that.
So the important thing is re-engagement or engagement.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Great suggestions for families to follow and for seniors to follow. So Amy, can you share with us some community resources that might be available?
Yes, I think that's so important too, Gretchen. One resource that I like to give specifically for people who are struggling with depression or anxiety or an aspect of mental health is behavioral health response. And this is a 24-hour phone line. So if you are having trouble sleeping in the middle of the night and feeling depressed and just need some help getting out of that, this can be a great number to call. And that number is 314-469-6644. There is also another phone line. It's called AARP Friendly Voice. And it's a similar program, but you don't need to be in any particular stress. It could be that you just want somebody to talk to, and you can call this number and just engage with somebody. And that number is 1-888-281-0145. Another good option too in the St. Louis community is we have Oasis for older adult education, and they have so many different classes that are online right now because of the pandemic. So you can go to oasis.net and find something that interests you and register and give that a try too.
I love the name of the resource from AARP, Friendly Voice, or Voice.
Yes, it is. It just sounds engaging and nice,
It sounds welcoming.
Approachable. Yes.
So Amy, tell us how the individuals in the community could reach you for more information or to learn more about your private practice.
Sure. Well, my email is amy.neu, and that's NEU and the number 1 at gmail.com. And you could also call our office. It's 314-275-8599. And I'm at extension 178.
Amy, this was great information. What I'm walking away with is engaging or re-engaging is important, and that there are resources available to assist with that.
Yes, exactly.
So thank you so much, Amy, for joining us today. I hope everyone gained something from our little chat. I did, and goodbye.